What's up, you guys? Today I am coming to you from the coop just to give you a little update on our most recent mite situation. I first mentioned the mites in my video on coop maintenance, which you can go ahead and check out if you want to check that one out first before you get to this update. But in that video, I was just going over changing out the bedding in the coop, putting in fresh bedding, and I added some diatomaceous earth to the bottom of the coop just to try to help fight the pests a little bit. That was my first line of defense against the bugs I have been seeing, was to clean out the coop and put that diatomaceous earth down and just kind of give them a fresh place to sleep at night. Now, I've been researching and my best guess is that these are northern fowl mites, which they probably picked up just from the wildlife, from the birds that they mingle with very frequently. I mean, at the bird feeder, they love to spend time there and pick up the seeds that the birds drop, so it is not a surprise to me that they would pick up a parasite from the birds. The bugs are super duper tiny, but even still, I have not seen them in the coop at all outside of them being on freshly laid eggs. It's possible they could be in corners and things and maybe I'm missing them, but I have seen them on the freshly laid eggs. And in the last video I was saying I hadn't seen any on the hens, but I didn't see them in the coop. I was seeing them on the eggs, and so that pretty much told me they have to be on the hens, right? At least some of them, assuming all of them. So I made a little bit better of an effort to go in and check them and pick them up and just kind of check their vent area, and sure enough, they're so small, but the bugs are there. So not surprisingly, changing out the bedding and just kind of lightly treating the coop didn't really do much. It's windy and cold. It's windy and cold. So my next line of defense, my next step, treat the chickens. Now, I am still relatively new at chicken farming, so I did Googling and I found a lot of suggestions on what to do to get rid of these mites. There's everything from natural remedies to chemical treatments to setting the bedding on fire when you take it out. I wanted to start with something that I felt was a little more natural that would hopefully be effective in treating the chickens. So this is what I went with to start. So I found this Pure Planet Poultry spray on Amazon, and that is what I have decided to go with first to treat the chickens. And then you can also spray the area as well with this. By the way, if you have a tried and true method of getting rid of mites or that you want to share with me, please comment below and let me know, because I feel like it's going to be a bit of a process to get rid of this. So let me just tell you about me trying to treat the chickens, okay? I've always been told that it's best to go in there at night because they go into like a zombie mode, and that's the best time to treat them. So I waited probably 2 hours till I went out there. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I had never done this before. I was previously a vet tech, so I do have experience with animals, but it's been a long time and I didn't work with a lot of kind of like farm animals or exotic species. But I went in there and it was just, I don't know, I was expecting the chickens to be in some kind of zombie mode, and they weren't. They were freaking out and flying all over the place, and it was just, everybody got mixed up and it was really discombobulated, and I didn't know who I had treated and who I didn't, and it just totally went terrible. And it wasn't at all what I was expecting. I didn't really have a lot of expectations, except I just thought they were just going to sit there and let me do whatever to them. But that wasn't the case. So I thought about it over the next day. Clearly my first treatment was nowhere near sufficient enough. Right, there's a super fresh egg. She just got off of it. No bugs, that's good. See what happens with this lady in a minute. Bye, honey. Good luck. So there's egg number 2, and it's got the mites on it. I knew I didn't get all the chickens last night, so this is not surprising. I'm gonna have to come back out again tonight and have another go. You gonna have a turn, honey? And so I was gonna go back out the next night. I decided to use a headlamp, which I did use the first night, but the first night I had the white light. That was just looking back, I'm like, oh, of course they got startled. I went in there like a buffoon, just shining this white light all over the coop. They're freaking out, you know? So the second night, I took the same headlamp, but I went red light, and it went much better. I moved much slower. I tried to be more quiet. I started on one end and slowly made my way back, and I was able to get every single vent, under every single wing, every single chest, every single neck. I felt much better about that application. After that first night when I did a half-assed job of spraying them down, of course I saw bugs on the eggs again, and so I went ahead with the second treatment the second night, and I also just like spread diatomaceous earth around the areas where they like to take their dust baths. I mean, that's really an impossible thing for our chickens because they free range and they just kind of take dust baths all over the place. And when I poured the diatomaceous earth on, they're like, we're just gonna go over here instead because this is weird and I don't know what you're doing. So, you know, that's kind of hard, but you know, I tried. So that's where we're at. As of yesterday, which was like 2 days past the legit treatment, I was seeing bugs on some of the eggs and some of them not. I know for a fact I'm going to have to retreat because with these kind of bugs, you really can't kill them a lot of time in like the pupa stage. So you have to wait for them to hatch and then retreat. So I'm expecting to have to retreat at least one more time, but honestly, I feel like this is going to be a much longer process than I would like for it to be. So just hang tight. I'm going to keep seeing how things are going, and I'm going to check back in with you in a few days. All right, so I'm currently about 8 days past when I last updated you guys, and I had done the second treatment on the hens with the spray that I got for the mites. And since then, I've done 2 more very thorough treatments. I feel like I get more and more thorough each time I go out there. And so I'm feeling pretty good about how I'm spraying them, but I don't feel like I'm seeing a huge difference with the mites. The next thing I want to try to do after what I'm going to do today is to maybe try to treat them like 3 nights in a row or something, because I'm not getting every inch of the bird. I'm getting the places where the mites are said to be the most populated. If I'm missing a few, I mean, they just reproduce so quickly that it just could be possibly hard to get on top of it. That's how I'm rationalizing things in my head. So I just sprinkled some more diatomaceous earth into the coop and also in the laying boxes and just mixed it in with their bedding. I have heard how important it is to make sure your diatomaceous earth is food grade, and I did get food grade, so that is good. Today what I'm gonna try is to put some garlic in their food, because supposedly garlic is a deterrent. Like when they eat it, the mites don't want to get onto bugs that I guess are permeating garlic. So we're gonna just try to mix some into their food today and see how that goes, and then depending on how that goes, then I may be doing some more treatments with the spray or just trying to figure out some other ways. If you have any tips for me, leave a comment below and I'm gonna update you guys as soon as possible. So today is about 2 days past when I gave the chickens garlic. You can see there's still little mites on there, although they're moving a little bit. But you know, they kind of fall off after you take the eggs out, they just die off. I do think it seems like there's less. It's been raining and like really cold, so I haven't really like been out here to get on an egg as soon as it was laid, which is the easiest way for me to assess the mites right now, as opposed to picking up the chickens and looking at them. But I don't know, to me right now, it kind of seems like there's fewer. Could the garlic be the trick? Okay, so it is about 10 days past my last update. I was letting the garlic run its course and kind of see if anything was gonna happen with that. I did feel like I was seeing fewer, but like a week later, I was still noticing a lot. I found one egg in particular where there was just mites all over it, and I was just like, you know, kind of frustrated. Right now I'm about 3 weeks from when I did my very first like totally subpar treatment, and so in hindsight 3 weeks isn't that long, but when I was in the middle of it and feeling like I didn't really know what I was doing, it was feeling like a long time. Once I continued to see more and more mites, I decided I was going to try again one more time with the Pure Planet Poultry spray to give it a really good go with it before I moved on to a different product. So what I decided to do was to go out into the coop 3 nights in a row and treat the chickens thoroughly, because I knew I couldn't get all of the chickens, but what I was hoping would happen was that I would treat the areas where they're most prevalent, the vent, the chest, the neck, and get most of them hopefully, and then the next night maybe those mites that I missed would move to that area. Let me tell you, it worked. So I did it 3 nights in a row, and then after the 3rd night, the next day I went out and there were no mites on the eggs. No sign of a mite in 3-4 days now since I did that, and that has not happened since this began. So I think I did it. Did I do it? I think I did it. A lot of this for me was just figuring out how to treat chickens in this way. It's something I've never done before. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but what I learned to finally do was to go in with the red light on, to just be slow, to be quiet. One of the chickens starts flapping, just it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean I have to freak out. So I just calmly moving through, and I got much better at it as I continued to move through doing it. I really feel very confident that those 3 treatments that I did were super thorough, and that is what got rid of it. It is possible that the other elements, the other treatments that I added in were helping as well. The garlic did seem to bring the numbers down a bit. Maybe the diatomaceous earth helped. The temperature was kind of changing a little bit too. So I have read about how the northern fowl mites like to live in certain temperatures. So maybe it getting a little bit warmer helped. But I will tell you that there is a very distinct difference between that 3rd day of treatment and the next day. They were just gone. Just a reminder, this is what I use. The active ingredients in this are clove oil and cottonseed oil, and there are some inert ingredients which, besides soap and water, I'm not going to pretend like I really know what those are, but you can look at them and research them for yourself. I will tell you that this product has worked for us once I figured out how to do it properly. It never bothered me, it never bothered the chickens. One thing that did bother me is the mites definitely got on me. So I got into the habit of using gloves when I was getting the eggs. I was trying not to handle the chickens very much, and after those nights of treatments I would go inside and just like strip down and take a shower. The mites actually cannot live on humans, so they can get on you and bite you, but they just like die. They need like the bird blood. So thank goodness for that, because oh my god, that would have been a whole other, oh my god, that would have been ooh. So I am pretty much considering this matter closed. I am actually though going to treat them one more time tonight, just in case there were any leftover mites that were in the egg stage that have now hatched. I don't want to start the cycle over again, so I'm going to give them one more treatment tonight, and then I'll be done. I'm going to leave it alone. They say the best treatment for this is prevention, and in the case of my chickens, they mingle with the birds a little bit. They like to go near the bird feeder. I could take that away, I guess. I don't really want to. So we're just going to kind of see how this goes moving forward. If this continues to be an issue for us, we might consider some other things. Right now we're just going to leave things as they are, and I feel really happy that I have resolved this issue, and I feel accomplished and confident and all that good stuff. So I hope this helps you as well. If you have any questions about anything, please drop them below and stick with me. I am going to be sharing everything I learned about chickens along the way. We are coming up on 1 year with our chickens, and I have a little vlog of when I got them when they were chicks that I'm going to be sharing soon. So make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything, and thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Yeah.